Beyonce has dropped Jay-Z's last name among the scandal going on with him. Now, does this mean they're going to get a divorce? Well, here's what we know. Beyonce was recently listed in Forbes' list of most powerful women. People were shocked to see her go by Beyonce Knowles, her maiden name, instead of her official name, Beyonce Knowles Carter. Now, this name change is interesting considering Jay-Z has been accused of committing a pretty horrible crime with his best friend, Diddy. Now, fans noticed this change right away, and some speculated a soft launch name change with comments like, "Let me hear you all say uh-oh," and "Nah, don't forget the Carter." Now, others humorously chimed in, "Everyone say, hey, Miss Knowles." Now, why is Beyonce trying to distance herself from her husband? Well, it all has to do with their friend, Diddy. Jay-Z was just accused of mistreating and taking advantage of a girl in the year 2000 with Diddy. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said the incident happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards after party. Now, the federal lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Diddy as a defendant. What we knew at the time was at the after party, the victim was mistreated by Diddy, while another male celebrity and female celebrity, neither of whom were named in the lawsuit, watched until the victim was able to escape. Now, this case was just refiled on Sunday, December 8th, and it included Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, in it. It turns out that he was the male celebrity described in the suit. But now some people think the unnamed female celebrity may be Beyonce. Now, the lawsuit says a friend dropped Jane Doe off at the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall. She didn't have a ticket, but she approached various limousine drivers to try to gain access to the show or even just an after party. Now, one driver told her that he worked for Diddy and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. He invited her to a party after the show and told her to return to his car in the late evening after he had transported Diddy and Jay-Z. Now, later, the driver picked her up, and after 20 minutes they arrived at a white house with a U-shaped driveway, the suit says. Now, she then had to sign a document she believes was a non-disclosure agreement on arrival to enter the party, which the suit says was filled with celebrities. She was then offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down, so she went into a room to rest. Now, shortly afterwards, though, the suit says Diddy and Jay-Z entered the room, with Diddy saying, "You are ready to party." That's when she alleges she was taken advantage of by both men while an unnamed female celebrity just watched. After the alleged incident, the suit says she grabbed her clothes and left. She made her way to a gas station where she called her father, it says. Now, the accuser is seeking unspecified damages. Now, Jay-Z has denied all accusations against him and has been going back and forth with Jane Doe's lawyer, Tony Busby, on social media. According to the lawsuit, her attorneys reached out to Jay-Z to request a mediation to resolve this matter. Upon present information and belief, Jay-Z responded to said letter by not only filing an utterly frivolous lawsuit, but also by orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, and intimidation against the plaintiff's lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in an attempt to silence plaintiff from naming Jay-Z herein. The effort was made to scare plaintiff and to discredit her counsel. That effort failed. Indeed, plaintiff chose to file this amendment as a result of the egregious conduct perpetrated by Carter, said the lawsuit. Now, in a response to CNN, Jay-Z called the mediation request a blackmail attempt. He also said this lawyer, who I have done a bunch of research on, he said, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. Now, in a statement from Tony Busby on Saturday, he wrote, "The pleading speaks for itself. This is a very serious matter that will be litigated in court." Now, in response to this, Jay-Z posted a lengthy statement about this accusation, and he claimed that Tony was engaged in unprofessional behavior. Now, again, it's been a lot of back and forth about all of this, but the bottom line is that Jay-Z is denying everything. Now, Jay-Z was actually spotted the day after the lawsuit was refiled. Jay attended the premiere of a movie with Beyonce where their daughter, Blue Ivy, voiced one of the characters. It was the first time Jay-Z had been spotted in public since the accusations. But sources with direct knowledge told the Post that before the allegations, it was rumored that Jay-Z and Beyonce were not planning to attend the premiere. However, they appeared to have a change of heart after the lawsuit. So it seems like this was some kind of PR move, which is honestly just so icky to me. Now, this is a horrible look for Beyonce because it seems like she's okay with this behavior and is even trying to protect him. Now, the attorney for Jay-Z, Alex Spiro, has filed a motion requesting that the accuser in a high-profile lawsuit reveal her identity. In documents submitted to a Manhattan federal court, Spiro stated, "Mr. Carter deserves to know the identity of the person who is effectively accusing him of criminal conduct." He further criticized Jane Doe's claims of potential harm from disclosure as insufficient, asserting that her accusations were publicized in a manner aimed at causing maximum reputational damage to Carter. But musical artist Jaguar Wright has also spoken out, calling both Diddy and Jay-Z monsters in the past. Now, she did an interview with Piers Morgan and she made her feelings clear about the two stars. She asked Jay-Z to speak out about the arrests, but she also added that there were thousands of victims in total when Piers asked how many there could be. Wright then mentioned Beyonce, saying she was supposedly involved in the unfair incidents that transpired over time. She went on to say that she has spoken to hundreds of victims whom she continues to assist. She even said that she had 3 victims who were willing to testify about what Jay-Z did to them, as well as what he did to his wife. Well, that's what she said. And now it turns out that she might have been telling the truth. Everyone at the time was calling her crazy, but I'm not too sure now. I mean, it seems like she might have been right about everything. Now, this isn't the first time someone has spoken up about some of Jay-Z's creepy behavior though. Jay-Z's ex, Carmen Bryan, appeared to react to the news, and people are bringing up her weird relationship with him. Now, she just recently posted some shady stuff on her Instagram account, as in one Instagram story she shared the lyrics of a Kanye West song, and these lyrics pretty much describe Jay-Z's situation right now and what he did. She then posted another story saying, "These days people don't defend what is right, they defend who they like, and that's why we call you groupies." Additionally, in recent updates, she also uploaded a screenshot of an article that mentioned how Jay-Z's alleged son is also planning on filing a lawsuit against the musician. With her back in the media though, people are bringing up some things she said in her book about Jay-Z. In It's No Secret From Nas to Jay-Z, From Seduction to Scandal, a hip-hop Helen of Troy tells all, she recounted how she once woke up to Jay-Z kissing her. She said, "Over dinner I decided he and I would be good friends for a very long time. We went back to Eric's house talking and laughing. I was in no condition to drive home, so I decided to spend the night at Eric's," she explained. "Sean and I sat on the couch and pretended to watch television. Before long, I drifted off to sleep. I woke up with Sean kissing me. His lips were so soft and luscious, and I began to melt into him." But yeah, that's not okay. Not at all. Now, it's also been exposed that Jay-Z has a thing for younger girls, which didn't seem to get him into trouble in the past, but now that I'm looking back at it though, it is weird. I mean, the signs were there, people, you just ignored them.
Can you blame Beyonce for keeping her love life under wraps? When Oprah asked her about her relationship with Jay-Z in a 2013 interview, Beyonce politely declined to comment, but was she hiding secrets about their relationship? 3 years later, she would go on to release her album Lemonade, which revealed the ups and downs of their marriage with hidden messages to decode. References to women he's worked with that came with allegations of infidelity, the emotional turmoil Beyonce endured, and her personal growth through it. The entire album's theme is love, betrayal, and healing. It just exposed so many aspects of her personal life that had fans talking about it even till this day. We know Beyonce and Jay-Z are the epitome of a power couple. Ever since their coupling in 2001, it's hard to mention one without the other, despite their individual successes in the music industry. Although the two began appearing alongside each other at events, suddenly launching their relationship to the public, they never really shared a lot of details about their blossoming romance. Everyone knew that Beyonce and Jay-Z were kindling a romance. However, Beyonce wanted to keep some things private as she started to become a household name, which included her relationship with Jay-Z, and that first became really evident in a 2003 interview on The Oprah Show. During the show, Oprah asked the then 22-year-old Beyonce about the rumors that were going around about her and then 37-year-old Jay-Z dating. Although the question was in the form of a statement, Oprah's tone was looking for confirmation from Beyonce. Beyonce appeared reluctant at Oprah's matter-of-fact inquiry, but eventually replied with a simple "yeah." However, this simple response was quickly followed by Beyonce explaining why she doesn't want to disclose any more details details about her romantic relationship, ultimately shutting down any further questioning from Oprah. She said, and I quote, "I don't actually talk about who I'm dating, who I'm not, because I think it's important that I concentrate on the music, and when you start talking about those things, they become bigger than the art." Oprah responded in agreement to Beyonce's choice not to reveal information about her and Jay-Z's relationship, saying, "It should be private, and I wish if I had to do it all over again, I would have never mentioned what's his name's name." Beyonce hugged Oprah saying, "I love you," which showed just how happy she was to have someone in agreement with her that keeping her relationship private was the right move. Beyonce's refusal to broadcast her relationship with Oprah and the world wasn't the first time, and it sure wasn't the last. Beyonce's choice to keep her relationship private with Jay-Z has roots in the way she was raised growing up in the state of Texas. Beyonce believes her upbringing had an impact on the way she approached fame. She told Oprah Winfrey this in a 2013 interview, "Probably because of my mother and my foundation. It's one of the things I've always been connected to. I always knew who I was, and I never felt the need to do whatever anyone else was doing." Oprah then asked Beyonce if she had trouble with balancing her private and public life in the midst of trying to stay current in pop culture. Beyonce responded by saying that over the last 16 years of being in the industry, she has tried to only share herself through her music. Going back to her 2003 interview with Oprah, I want to talk about what a pivotal moment in her career was, because at that time, Beyonce had just recently released her debut solo album, Dangerously in Love, which became a massive success. The interview also showcased Beyonce's signature style and charisma. She even taught Oprah some of her iconic dance moves and defining the term bootylicious as beautiful, bountiful, and bounceable. Despite her being so confident and poised, Beyonce did talk about how in school, kids made fun of her ears, and she was quiet and kept to herself for the most part. This may actually speak to why she also likely wanted to not discuss anything Jay-Z, because she knew she was at the peak of her rise to fame, and having already experienced criticism from her past, but also now from the media, it would make sense she'd want at least one part of her life to be as private as possible. That, or maybe she just wasn't sure if her and Jay would actually last. What do you guys think? Fast forwarding again to her 2013 interview with Oprah, which would actually be her last known interview with Oprah, and it's worth noting that Beyonce has been super selective about giving interviews in recent years, with her last major interview being with Vogue in 2018. But in this 2013 one with Oprah, she opened up about her documentary Beyonce, Life is But a Dream, and her daughter Blue Ivy. She shared her thoughts on motherhood, marriage, and her experience thus far with fame. She again, though, discussed her decision to keep her personal life private still. And in a part of the interview, Oprah talks about how Beyonce balances being a fierce, independent woman, but also a woman who loves and adores her man. Beyonce responds by saying, "Absolutely, and I would not be the woman I am if I did not go home to that man, and it gives me such a foundation." Oprah asked how Jay-Z helps her, and Beyonce simply said, "On so many levels." She then proceeds to say they were friends first for about a year and a half before they went on any dates, and it's that foundation that is so important in any relationship. She then says it's so important to have someone that you just like, and wait for it, someone who is also honest. Now that's quite an interesting thing for her to say, the honest part, because it is reported that some sources suggest he cheated on her as early as 2001, which is when they first started dating, and then of course rumors of Jay-Z's infidelity surfaced again in 2013, and then of course the elevator incident in 2014, so rumors of infidelity just keep coming up. And if this interview had happened post 2016 Lemonade, I wonder what Beyonce would have to say. I wonder how different the questions would be, and I wonder if she'd still consider Jay-Z to be an honest man. But hey, thinking on it, that is probably why she hasn't done many interviews lately, because everyone would want to know her thoughts, and it's likely that every interviewer would be questioning her about the elevator incident, her lyrics in Lemonade, and all of the allegations against Jay-Z, like his alleged affair with TV reality star Casey Cohen back in 2014, his inappropriate relationship with Rachel Roy, his other alleged affair with Rita Ora, and let's not forget all the rumors about his secret relationship with Rihanna. And yeah, we know Jay-Z has since apologized for his infidelity, stating that he had to survive and shut down all emotions, which led to his decision to cheat. But that's not who we really want to hear from though, is it? We want to know Beyonce's take on all of this. Wouldn't you love to be a fly on their wall in their house? Lastly, I want to briefly explore her last big interview with Vogue, because despite having so many years off from doing interviews, she made a point to actually do one with Vogue in 2020. And her intentions for wanting to do so is because she wanted to announce to the world that she's slowing down. She went on the record saying, "I've absolutely changed this year. It would be difficult to experience life in a pandemic and the current social unrest and not be changed." She said, "I have learned that my voice is clearer when I am still. I truly cherish this time with my family, and my new goal is to slow down and shed stressful things from my life." Beyonce points out that she's been working basically non-stop since she was a teenager, and now that she's a mother of 3, she's realized it might be time to find a better work-life balance. She said to the interviewer, "I came into the music industry at 15 years old and grew up with the world watching, and I've put out projects non-stop. I released Lemonade during the Formation World Tour, gave birth to twins, performed at Coachella, directed Homecoming, went on another world tour with Jay, then Black is King, all back to back." She then said, "It's been heavy and hectic. I've spent a lot of time focusing on building my legacy and representing my culture the best way I know how to. Now I've decided to give myself permission to focus on my joy." This shouldn't be a total cause for alarm for the Beyhive though, because a Beyonce at professional half productivity may still end up being quite productive by normal standards. And although she never announced any future plans to produce any more music, movies, or anything else entertainment-wise, she does tend to make moves in silence. But is that because she truly feels like she wants to slow down, or is it because she wants to avoid having to answer some uncomfortable questions about her involvement in controversies, or better yet, her husband's involvement? Or maybe she just wants to politely tell the world to not even dare try her. Jay-Z got into some hot water with Beyonce, and now he's forced to follow some strict rules after he got caught cheating. First rule, absolutely no more going out with his boys, again to the club, bar, or anywhere deemed risky. A source close to the pair said he used to go out with the boys all the time, but that's completely off limits now. Despite being, the power couple of Hollywood, even Jay-Z and Beyonce have faced certain ups and downs in their marriage and even became a subject of scandal after the rapper's infidelity. Well, that's what's changed their relationship and lives forever, with the pop star handing out a set of rules to Sean Carter. Now, according to sources, after Jay-Z openly admitted to cheating on Beyonce, the singer surprisingly managed to forgive him and work on their marriage. But that took a lot of effort on the rapper's end. For, he was apparently handed out a set of rules to follow. Back in 2014, after Beyonce's sister Solange Knowles ferociously attacked Jay-Z in an elevator, rumors began circulating about the rapper's infidelity. Thereafter, thanks to the pop star's 2016 album Lemonade, where she referred to someone as Becky with the good hair, which solidified people's assumptions. Finally, in 2017, Jay-Z confirmed his infidelity through the title track of 444 and later opened up publicly about his situation with Beyonce. Thereafter, although the couple sparked rumors of divorce, they worked on their marriage instead of giving up. And according to multiple reports, there's many things that require the rapper to follow an alleged set of rules and live by. Second rule, couples therapy is an absolute must. Jay-Z discussed couples therapy on Letterman's show. In 2018, Jay-Z spoke about his cheating on David Letterman's Netflix show My Next Guest Needs No Introduction. And he explained how he and Beyonce got past the scandal with couples therapy and putting in the work needed to keep their marriage intact. Now, Jay-Z said, "Much like you, I have a very beautiful wife who is understanding and who knew I'm not the worst of what I've done. And we did the hard work of going to therapy. We love each other, so we really put in the work for years." Letterman also opened up about, his premarital affair and how he felt he blew up his family with the scandal. Jay-Z agreed and responded by saying, "I like to believe we're in a better place today. I'm proud of the father and the husband that I am today." According to sources, Jay-Z and Beyonce had to go to therapy and prioritize date nights, to reconnect as a couple. Despite regaining their position as the power couple of Hollywood, it wasn't easy for them to regain their trust and strengthen the marriage. Third rule is that Jay-Z is banned from touching other women in any sort of way. According to sources, Tiffany Haddish once revealed that Beyonce had to confront an unnamed actress after she got too close to Jay-Z's personal space. Haddish attended an after party after one of Jay's concerts, and during the party, she spoke to the rapper and an unnamed woman. She said, "I was talking to Jay-Z for a little bit, and there was another actress that was there who was also talking to him. She touched Jay-Z's chest, and Beyonce came walking up very serious." Haddish said Beyonce's demeanor and how she walked up, she had, the attitude of "get your hands off my man's chest." Haddish didn't get into, great detail about the incident, but people suggest suggested, it occurred the same night as her iconic wig slip selfie with Beyonce. Beyonce did not comment on the reports made about the incident, but no one would really be surprised if this was 100% legit. Rule number 4 is no more working with Rihanna. According to a source, Beyonce may have been feuding with Rihanna back in 2016 and stood the way of collaboration between the fellow singer and Jay-Z. The source said Rihanna is a person, that she's suspicious of. There have been so many rumors over the years about her and Jay, it's really hard to know what to believe. Jay-Z launched Rihanna to stardom by signing her to his label and features, on some of her biggest hits such as Umbrella and Run This Town. Now the pair have really good musical chemistry together when collaborating, but Beyonce doesn't seem to like that at all. The exclusive source said, at this point Beyonce keeps a very close eye on Jay and Rihanna, but he's absolutely banned from working with her. So it seems, Jay-Z and Rihanna can't collaborate anymore, but Beyonce may change her mind one day, so let's see what happens. And to piggyback slightly off this rule, it is also reported that Jay-Z is no longer allowed to work with any female talent, period. So no more collaborations with any female singers in the industry or rappers, that could pose a threat to Beyonce or to Jay-Z or to both of them collectively. He, of course, is allowed to collab with male artists, well, certain ones, that is. Rule number 5, Jay had to fix his relationship with Solange. Unless you've been living under a rock, it would be really hard to believe if you said you hadn't heard about the elevator incident. But just in case, I'll explain. In 2014, after a Met Gala party, Jay-Z and Beyonce and Solange stepped into an elevator, and moments later, Solange lunged at Jay-Z, hitting him multiple times while a security guard had to intervene, and Beyonce had to as well, even though she kind of just stood there. It was reported by People magazine that Solange had a run-in with designer Rachel Roy, who was actually rumored to have had an affair with Jay-Z. The outlet claims Solange was provoked by Rachel. Towards the night's end, Jay-Z allegedly said something very inappropriate to Beyonce, which caused Solange to then snap and attack Jay-Z. 2 months later, Solange said, they were all good, but Beyonce kept the fire going with a remix of her song Flawless when she referenced the elevator brawl, saying on it, of course sometimes bleep goes down when there's $1 billion on an elevator. Jay-Z took responsibility in his 2017 album 444. You egged Solange on, knowing all along, all you had to say you was wrong, but you gotta do better. Boy, you owe it to Blue. You had no father, you had the armor, but you got a daughter, gotta get softer. Those are the lyrics, go listen for yourself. A rule that Jay-Z must also follow is that he must distance himself from Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. While Jay-Z and Kanye were close at one point, it was reported that Beyonce and Kim were distanced from one another. According to Radar Online, Kim called Beyonce to try and smooth things over for her and Kanye's relationship with Beyonce and Jay-Z. West ranted about Jay-Z before his breakdown, attacking the rapper for not visiting his wife after she was robbed in Paris, and lamenting about how their daughter Blue Ivy never had a play date with North. Kim tried to ease the tension between everyone, but Beyonce was reportedly just having none of it after West called her out, multiple times on Grammy Awards and on her and Jay-Z's, political stances. Basically, she told Kim to never ever contact her or her husband again, and said stuff like she thought that the two of them are made for each other because they are both talentless and pathetic. Beyonce and Jay-Z are known to keep their lives private, and when Kanye, slammed them in public, she really didn't take kindly to it. Next rule is that Jay-Z had to publicly apologize for his infidelity. While it's unknown if Beyonce, made Jay-Z apologize directly, everyone knows that on his album 444, he publicly apologized and addressed his guilt. On one of his tracks, he says, took for my child to be born to see through a woman's eyes, took for these natural twins to believe in miracles, took me too long for this song, I don't deserve you. Jay-Z addresses personal moments, and the song ends where it begins, basically with an apology to his wife. Jay-Z admitted publicly that the rumors of his infidelity were true and opened up his private life to New York Times executive director Dean Baku. Now, in his interview, he said, you have to survive, so you go into survival mode. And when you go into survival mode, what happens? You shut down all emotions. So that was his justification for cheating. And the last rule is that Beyonce got to air out Jay-Z for his infidelity. So when Beyonce, made waves for her album Lemonade, made, fans of the Queen Bee began to dissect the lyrics in each song and found that they had at least one reference to the man that cheated on her, Jay-Z. Now, the lyrics read in her song Sorry, "Tonight I regret the night I put that ring on." Now, in her song I Pray You Catch Me, she sings, "Beyonce showed all this in her album, but even after all the drama and deceit, she made it very clear that, she and Jay would reconcile and fix, what was broken." She says, "So we're gonna heal, we're gonna start again." So it allowed Beyonce to basically address the infidelity while also getting all of her emotions and feelings out in a way that she knows best. It's reported that this was really therapeutic for her and helped her move on and forgive. I mean, I doubt she will forget, but she's definitely made it very clear that she has moved past it. She's staying strong in her marriage. I personally don't think there will ever be a day that we hear about the two getting a divorce. I think their image is greater than their own needs, and I think that, just the thought of their image being tarnished or destroyed is basically enough to keep them together, even if they aren't happy together.
Alright, so Jay-Z's lawyer is making the claim that Jay-Z has had nothing to do with Diddy's case. Technically, he isn't denying that the rappers knew each other. What he's saying is that they weren't like the bestest friends in the world, but more just like work colleagues. The exact words to describe the relationship were, "They knew each other professionally for a number of years. Just like in all professions, people know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction." People expected Jay-Z to deny any involvement with the case. It's a serious accusation that would ruin his life if he is found guilty. However, the fact that Jay-Z's lawyer is saying that the men were not friends has people baffled. I mean, no one really knows what goes on in celebrity lives behind closed doors, but the men haven't exactly been impartial when they interact with and talk about each other. The pair have known each other over 2 decades, going on 3. They met in the 90s when they were featured on each other's tracks, but I guess music artists do that all the time without being or staying friends. So I guess moving on from that, to get us all on the same page about the severity of this situation and what exactly Jay-Z is being accused of, let's take it back to the year 2000, the same year where Jay-Z was spotted at Diddy's 4th of July party. It's the night of the MTV VMAs, so it's early September. The lawsuit accusing Jay-Z and Diddy is centered around this night. It alleged that Diddy and an unnamed additional male celebrity harmed the plaintiff, who has been going by Jane Doe, inappropriately, while another, also unnamed female celebrity, watched. The plaintiff's recount of the night was, she attempted to sneak into Radio City Music Hall for the VMAs when she was younger. After a failed attempt, she ran into Diddy's driver. The driver told her to come back after the show. When she did, he drove her to a large white house with a gated U-shaped driveway. The plaintiff claims that when she entered the home, she was presented with a non-disclosure agreement and asked to sign. Once inside, she recounts that there was widespread use of substances, and when handed a beverage, they were also in there. In a bid to find somewhere safe to rest, the plaintiff claims she entered an empty bedroom, and it wasn't long after she entered that the trio of celebrities allegedly followed. It was then that the multiple transgressions happened, ultimately halting when the plaintiff struck Diddy in the neck. She was able to eventually escape the house and return home, but the night left its mark. The lawsuit claims that the plaintiff fell into a deep depression, which continues to affect every facet of her life. Diddy was the first of the trio to be named. The plaintiff's representation apparently contacted the unnamed male celebrity to try and come to an agreement behind closed doors, but when that was clearly not possible, they attached their name to the lawsuit officially, and the unnamed male celebrity was revealed to be Jay-Z. Both Jay-Z and Diddy continue to assert their innocence, and Jay-Z was allegedly seen at that party referenced in the suit, but again, it's unclear if he was actually the one in the room. As the new century began, Jay-Z and Diddy were spotted out many times together, but Jay-Z's lawyer once again did say that people in the same profession will of course support each other, even if they are not the closest friends in the world, especially if they're working towards the same thing, which Diddy and Jay-Z were. Rap music wasn't always the cool and respected genre of music that it is today. Every individual win was a win for everyone in the community and something to be celebrated. This wasn't the only time the pair worked together for a greater goal. In 2005, they made a joint donation of $1 million to support those affected by the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina. They also performed at the hip-hop festival Scream Fest in 2007, which also happens to be the event where Diddy allegedly smacked Jay-Z on the behind. For anyone wildly confused about that seemingly random statement, there was video footage circulating from this festival that looks like Diddy is smacking Jay-Z's backside. Because the video was taken in 2007, it's pretty pixely, but you can make out one person coming into contact with another. 50 Cent actually reposted this video to his social medias recently, featuring a caption with the words, "I ain't never been with it,"
The post has been deleted, but screenshots of it exist. 50 Cent has been trolling Diddy and Jay-Z online for months. There was the video featuring the festival Behind Smack from November 2023, but then back in May of 2024, shortly after the first accusations against Diddy came out, 50 Cent posted an unflattering image of Jay-Z to his Instagram, claiming that Jay-Z was going to hibernate until everything with Diddy blew over. It referenced the fact that Jay-Z had kind of distanced himself from Diddy and was staying silent on everything, despite the pair being seen together so many times over the decades. A famous quote about their friendship actually came from a conversation about a photo taken of the pair at Diddy's birthday in 2009. A photo of Diddy and Jay-Z chatting made it into the Rock and Roll of Hip Hop exhibition. Jay-Z flew out for the party and then had to fly back immediately after because he was on tour, which is something you do for work acquaintances that you are not close friends with. You also tell people how much you value their friendship and appreciate big gestures like that, because that's what Diddy said he was talking to Jay-Z about in that very picture. But a few years after that, in 2013, Jay-Z and Beyonce attended a party thrown by Combs. Also at this party is rapper J. Cole. J. Cole was allegedly saying inappropriate things to Diddy and then girlfriend Cassie. It got heated, a fight broke out, and Jay-Z and Beyonce had to kind of attempt to break it up, I guess. Eventually, everyone did cool off and the party continued. But right at the start of the next year, so New Year's 2014, Jay-Z and Beyonce are spotted at Diddy's New Year's Eve party. They are reported to have had a great evening, dancing the night away. Jay-Z is allegedly at Diddy's B-Day party again the next year, but Diddy's parties, before everyone found out that he was not a great person, were coveted invitations, and so a lot of celebrities were seen at them, which could mean nothing. This party was special though, because a 30-inch apple pie was served. The size of the pie is like really not important, but it's certainly ridiculous, and I just thought you should know. In 2016, Jay-Z made a surprise appearance at Diddy's Bad Boy Family Reunion tour, but celebrities pop up at tours all the time, even if they're not that close. Is Diddy's tour different? You decide. The cherry on top of this, Jay-Z and Diddy were totally just work friends cake, is Diddy's intro for Jay-Z at this tour appearance. Bad Boys celebrating 20 years of hits, but this is extended family. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. This is my strategist right here, this is my brother, which could mean nothing. Later that year, the two men were also pictured partying after the MTV Video Music Awards. But their work relationship extended far beyond parties, or that's how it seemed in 2017 when Diddy gave Jay-Z parenting advice. A weird celebrity web connection though. Liam Payne met Diddy this year and described his laugh as the most evil laugh he'd ever heard, which is just like a funny thing to say about somebody, especially considering nothing had come out about Diddy yet, so this was completely unprompted. Liam also had another quote that aged like milk, so I'm a little bit fearful of that man. It was like the most daunting celebrity experience that you could ever imagine. I thought P. Diddy was a safe bet. Obviously, I missed the mark a little bit. Obviously, Liam Payne meant nothing by his comment other than it was intimidating meeting a big name like Diddy, but in the year 2025, it did not age well. In 2018, Jay-Z attended Diddy's Halloween party. Diddy dressed up as It the Clown. The foreshadowing is wild. It's revealed that the rappers are working together on an app together that year, but right before the major 2020 event hit, in January, the Rock Nation Black Billionaire Brunch happened. At the time, both rappers were billionaires, so they were both there. Diddy's speech at the time featured many comments about his bond with Jay-Z. He said, "We here together and we gonna keep staying together and tighter." Then, we had the pandemic. No one really saw much of anyone until 2022. Diddy received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the BET Awards that year, and of course, work colleague Jay-Z had to give a speech. He praised Diddy's journey and commended him for making it through all the difficulties life stacked against him. And then, finally, 1 year before everything really went down, 2023, Diddy reveals the names of two people he lets call him by his real name, Sean, his mother, and Jay-Z. He says it's because he also calls Jay-Z by his real name, which is also Sean, so it's not at all because they are friends. 2024 clearly brought a different set of challenges to the men's work relationship, and we will have to wait and see how the accusations against Jay-Z and Diddy pan out.
Jay-Z and R. Kelly have worked together on 2 joint albums, Best of Both Worlds and Unfinished Business. They even went on tour together for the Best of Both Worlds tour, which was supposed to take place in 2002, but was pushed back to 2004 after allegations surfaced. Now, usually an artist working with another artist is not a cause for concern, but it is when the other artist is R. Kelly. So to give you some background, for more than 2 decades, chart-topping R&B singer R. Kelly had faced allegations of SA. Now, the accounts went back to the start of his career in the 1990s, with many centering on the predatory pursuit of young women. Now, in 1994, R. Kelly married Aaliyah, who was underage at the time, and Aaliyah lied about her age on the wedding certificate listing herself as an adult. The marriage was annulled in February of 1995, but fast forward to 2002, Kelly was sued by Patrice Jones, a Chicago woman who claimed he got her pregnant when she was underage and she was forced to forego the pregnancy. Now, another woman by the name of Montina Woods also sued Kelly, alleging that he videotaped them being intimate without her knowledge. The recording was allegedly circulated on a tape sold by bootleggers under the title R. Kelly XXX. R. Kelly was later charged with 21 counts of making essay videos. He immediately denied the charges and pleaded not guilty in court. Now, during the time all of this was going on, R. Kelly was out on bail, releasing music videos, and yes, going on tour with Jay-Z. Jay-Z knew what was happening, was aware of the accusations, and still decided to continue not only his professional relationship with Kelly, but also his personal. Now, they stayed close friends, and in an interview back then when it was happening, Jay-Z said, "If he's guilty, I hope he gets help. If he's innocent, I hope people stand by him and apologize." That didn't age well. Now, the singer settled both cases out of court, paying undisclosed sums in return for non-disclosure agreements. Now, in 2021, R. Kelly was convicted, and in 2022, he was jailed for 30 years after being found guilty of 8 counts of racketeering and other charges in a New York court. R. Kelly was very recently sentenced to an additional 20 years, and now with this coming up, it has drawn more attention to Jay-Z because many people have said Jay-Z is just as predatory as R. Kelly and did to Beyonce what Kelly did to Aaliyah. The only difference is that Jay hit it better. There's demand from several people online wanting Jay-Z's past to be more carefully looked at through another lens now, especially since he's at the center of a new essay lawsuit that involves Diddy. Foxy Brown, let's talk about it. It has been reported many times that Jay-Z had an inappropriate relationship with Foxy Brown. They met in the mid-90s and they began collaborating on music projects. Now, she was apparently very young when they met and he was in his 20s, and in 1995 they recorded a song together that was extremely inappropriate for a young woman to be recording. It was explicit, talked about intimate acts, and just wasn't something anyone should be privy to at that age. Fast forwarding to the fall of 2024, Foxy Brown addressed relationship rumors with Jay-Z in a series of Instagram story posts. So Foxy Brown attempted to debunk rumors that she and Jay-Z had an intimate relationship when she was younger. Brown initially posted and addressed a screenshot of a tweet alleging Jay made her sign an NDA, among other things, calling it fake news. She wrote, "Miss me with that fake news, NDA and an MF alive could stop my story." She then posted a screenshot of a YouTube video saying she's breaking her silence about Jay-Z and references one of her IG stories where she tells someone, "My story will shock you to your core. I don't play victim, but I had to step away for a minute for my sanity or I would have been gone. Stop playing with my name." She then added, "Comprehension is a lost art and y'all want me to be anti-host so bad." Rumors of their relationship actually date back to 2001 when rapper Nas mentioned their alleged relationship on his diss song Ether. Now, jumping forward to the recent allegations against Jay-Z and Diddy with the essay lawsuit from a Jane Doe, Foxy Brown appeared online again, suddenly weighing in on the accusations, sharing her Instagram stories saying, "Wow," and "Wait," with a shocked face emoji. Her third and final post was just a cold blue face emoji. Now, although Foxy has not confirmed that her posts are about Jay-Z and Diddy being accused of essaying a young woman at an MTV Video Music Awards party in 2000, many people are led to believe and speculate that it is, because at this point, what else would make Foxy react online that way? Bad business practices. Was Jay-Z writing bad checks? Well, in 2003, reports claim that 2 companies filed separate lawsuits against Jay-Z's nightclub that was named 4040 for a total of $46,000 in unpaid bills, claiming they received rubber checks from 21's Inc., which is Jay's company. Now, one company named Ronald Mark Associates was hired to create 30 custom tables that cost him $18,000. Apparently, Jay only put $5,000 down and the company was owed the rest, being about $13,000, but Jay never paid. Ron Berkowitz, a spokesperson for the Club 4040, downplayed the allegations, claiming that the bouncing checks are a burn wrap, whatever that means. It was reported that club employees were ducking phone calls and that that lawsuit was actually settled for about $1,114.59 to be exact on November 2nd, 2003. Jay-Z tried to countersue, saying the tables were not ready in time, so they weren't going to pay the full amount. Regardless, the West 25th Street nightclub 4040, which was actually named after baseball's biggest achievement, so players who hit 40 home runs and stole 40 bases in one season, survived and actually thrived. It has been a standout lounge with luxurious decor, sports memorabilia, and guests have enjoyed upscale bar cuisine and drinks. Now, unfortunately, if this has made you want to visit, think again, because after nearly 2 decades in business, in 2023, they closed its OG location. So many people actually believe that Jay-Z was the reason for them closing, saying his past has come back to bite him. But apparently that's not why. And although no real reason has been given to why they closed, they actually do plan to reopen at a new location in 2025, so keep your eyes peeled for that if overpriced pub food and underpoured drinks are your thing. Now, Jay-Z's love children. Yes, aside from the 3 offspring he shares with Beyonce, let's talk about the others that are not so loved. Back in 2010, rumors circulated that Jay-Z had hooked up with an adult film star named Jasmine Cashmere. A few months later, Jasmine's friend were spreading news of a pregnancy, saying that Jay was the father. Now, Jasmine actually took to Twitter to deny the accusation, saying, "No, I am not pregnant by Jay-Z or any rapper from New York." Jay-Z also made a public statement as well, saying that he and Jasmine had never even crossed paths. It was supposedly a friend, however, that tipped off the news, saying that Jay had paid Jasmine $2.5 million to just disappear. The news outlet, being the National Enquirer, was able to confirm that the star, being Jasmine, bought a new house around that exact same time. And no one has bothered Jay since the alleged payout, so is that a coincidence? I think not. There was another rumor that Jay-Z has another child with Trinidadian model Chanel Scott. Back in 2002, Jay and Chanel had an open relationship while she was actually seeing another man. And so it was assumed that her child was her boyfriend's, but as her son grew up, the man rejected him as his own because the boy looked nothing like him. He actually looked like Jay-Z. And after a paternity test confirmed that Jay is the father, he did step up and took responsibility. He bought Chanel and his son a nice home in Trinidad, gave them $1 million. He also pays child support monthly, so that's good. And so yeah, it's safe to say Beyonce knows about this one, as we all do now. And apparently they are actually still friends who keep in contact. She said Jay is a good father, and one of Chanel's friends said, you know, it was a big ol' mess at one time, but I think once they resolved the issue of fatherhood, paternity, things started to level off. Funny enough, representatives at the time for Jay-Z had actually come out and said initially, there's no truth to these ridiculous rumors. People should be ashamed of using this kind of story and exploiting a child for publicity and ratings. But wait, there's more. One of Jay-Z's former friend claimed in 2022 that Jay has a secret adult daughter that resides in a home that Jay-Z purchased for her in Cambridge, Maryland, and that he pays her bills but allegedly does not allow her to put pictures of him around her house as part of their deal. Her name is Letitia Macer, who is now 34 years old. Now, she came out and claimed she is Jay-Z's secret daughter and shows DNA proof to support her claims. Jay-Z apparently used to date her mom Lisa back in the day, and Letitia was born in the early 90s, which makes sense. Now, she was quoted saying, "I've been quiet for far too long. Join me as I tell you my story of living in the shadows of being Jay-Z's daughter in a city where everyone knew he was my father. There's no way he can deny anything, especially when there were people that were there that knew him." Lisa's sister Terry even wrote a Facebook post, like a story, saying, "I know the story from start to finish. I hooked your mother and father up years ago." She said her and Lisa actually called Jay up on the phone to tell him about his daughter Letitia, and his exact words were, "Do you know how many women call here daily and say Jay-Z the baby daddy?" Anyway, Letitia apparently spends her days posting old photos on Instagram and videos that are to convince the public that she is Jay's daughter. And so I went on to go do some digging because I wanted to see what her Instagram was all about. Firstly, let me tell you, her Instagram handle is Jay-Z's first daughter. I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny. Like, if To The Point was a person, it would be her. Now, anyway, I didn't get far because her account is set to private, which is odd considering her goal here, so womp womp. But maybe she'll accept my request to follow, and then I'll come back and I'll let you guys know what's going on there. Now, with all the recent controversy surrounding Jay-Z right now, it's reported she has more to say and doesn't plan on keeping quiet at all.
For starters, with Jay-Z, people just do not like him right now because he's been accused of inappropriately engaging with a young person alongside Sean Diddy Combs. So yeah, we're straight to the point with this one. Jay-Z has not been found guilty by any means. He was just recently tied to an accusation against Diddy. A woman alleges that when she was little, she attended a Diddy party, was inebriated, and while under the influence was attacked by the rappers inappropriately. Originally, she only named Diddy in the case, with the other celebrities referred to as Celebrity A and Celebrity B, but obviously that's changed. The case has alleged that Celebrity A was Jay-Z, and there is a possibility that matters were settled behind closed doors with them, as that's what Jane Doe's legal team allegedly attempted to do with Jay-Z, but obviously failed in that case. So yeah, there's some pretty serious allegations against the rapper right now. Already, people were kind of getting like celebrity fatigue when it came to Jay-Z and Beyonce, and what that is in simple terms, people have seen a lot of them recently, and now they are tired of seeing them and want something new. Already dealing with an unfavorable public opinion and then having this thrown into the mix is a recipe for fame disaster. People really don't want to see Jay-Z in public anymore and think that he shouldn't even be invited to major events with everything that he's been accused of. At first, it was just the new live-action Lion King red carpet, which his daughter and his wife were both involved with the movie, and the accusations had only recently come out a few days before, so it made sense that he might still want to attend that carpet. However, people were outraged at seeing him next to his family at the Grammy Awards a couple weeks ago. Many thought it was wrong to have him at the luxurious event and criticized the move. Some even considered this as Jay-Z desperately trying to maintain his star status amidst all the negative things happening. It was also made into a bigger deal when Kendrick Lamar won 5 Grammys for his diss track, Not Like Us. The song is about his feud with somebody else, it's with Drake. However, the themes of the song can technically relate to Jay-Z right now, considering what he's been accused of. In the song, Kendrick calls out Drake for acting in a strange manner when it comes to younger people. This is something that the rapper has been held accountable for by the public before. It was discovered that he was personally messaging young female stars, not like saying anything too weird, but people still found it weird that he was texting them so much to the point where they would think of him as a close friend. Yeah, people thought it was hypocritical of the Grammys to give so many awards to a song that features sections commenting how it's wrong to mistreat young people when there was someone sitting in the audience that has been accused of doing just that. Now again, Jay-Z has not been found guilty. He is adamant that he isn't guilty. Still, much of the public's favor has been lost and likely won't return until we get an official. Beyonce is an international household name with numerous hit singles, but people are questioning why the star feels the need to remain in the spotlight for so long. She has released a total of 8 albums, and that's not including things like live albums or soundtracks, etc. Those that have worked for / with the star in the past have remarked about her insane work ethic. Some even referred to her as a robot with the amount of work that she can get done in a day. Earlier in her career, Beyonce was everywhere, but her career really took off with her hit single, Single Ladies. This went viral at a time when going viral was kind of this new thing. You couldn't escape Beyonce or Beyonce-related content or Beyonce parodies simply because she was the moment. However, people started getting celebrity fatigue. It happens to the best of them. Suddenly, it became annoying to see Beyonce, and even though she might not have changed, the public's perception of her did, and soon she started disappearing between album releases, something the singer has addressed. The artist did an interview last year in which she said that fame started to feel like a prison for her. So instead of staying active in between album releases, she started to disappear. Choosing not to appear on red carpets as much anymore or not doing as many interviews, she wants to focus on the art she creates and specifically her time with her family. But if you're sitting there wondering why this particular conversation about Beyonce's fame level is reigniting right now, please think of the recent Grammy Awards, where Beyonce won Best Country Album and Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. People are pretty upset that Cowboy Carter took home these trophies. The Album of the Year won because, well, their own favorites just didn't win, or they just think that this wasn't Beyonce's best work. And then the country album, because some people just didn't like that Beyonce tried out the genre. Beyonce's country talents have been called into question since the album's March 2024 release date. Country is pretty different from what Beyonce has been known to do. Many of her past works include pop, R&B, and hip-hop, and everybody knows that once you enter the music industry, you have to stay in the genres you started with, and you absolutely can't cross over at all. That is not allowed. The more aggressive of those that didn't like Cowboy Carter have accused the singer of rigging the Grammys to steal awards from the other artists, aka those that kind of started with country and have stuck to country, except for Post Malone, who was also nominated and was another artist that did switch his sound up a lot for this album. But this is different from Beyonce because his fans have deemed him a genre hopper that doesn't really stick to one thing. He tries it all, but many of his songs before were pop, R&B, and hip hop. Some country fans have said that the only country that they want to listen to is by those with a passion for the genre, not someone who is just looking to try it out for fun. And that's fair. You can tell when a person creating art doesn't really have their heart in it, and that's no fun. However, after some digging, I discovered a couple sources that suggest that Beyonce actually didn't just hop into the country genre just for fun, and she does have a passion for it. Back in 2016, she made headlines when she performed her country song Off Lemonade, Daddy Lessons at the CMA Awards. This was met with about as much backlash as she is now getting for her 2025 Grammy wins, but Beyonce's apparent love for country music dates almost a decade earlier than that. A 2007 article suggests that Beyonce had been thinking about writing country music for a long time. A source at the time said that Beyonce was considering making a country album next. In the end, her next album release was I Am Sasha Fierce, which is not country at all, so where did that source even get that from? Well, in 2007, Beyonce performed a country version of her hit Irreplaceable at the AMAs with country band Sugarland. The country remix was surprisingly great. I never would have thought it would work that well with that song. Beyonce didn't sing the song with that characteristic country twang. She very much kept her own sound, but it still worked just fine, and Sugarland was awesome as well.
Jay-Z and Diddy were once referred to as hip-hop royalty. To this day, and despite all the controversies, many still give them that title. The rappers both rose to fame in the 90s and have maintained a very close friendship over the years. After both beating jail time in 1999 for their involvement in separate crimes, the duo are now facing more legal allegations. In 2024, a woman accused the rap legends of essaying her at a house party in 2000 when she was just a young woman. Now, both Combs and Jay have denied the allegations, but was the 1999 incident just a big red flag for worse to come? In December of 1999, Jay was arrested and charged with attacking Lance Riviera during a heated argument in a Manhattan nightclub. Lance is a record producer and music executive who began his musical career when he met neighborhood rapper Christopher Wallace, better known as Biggie Smalls. After hearing Biggie perform, Rivera offered to finance his musical career, and that opened the door to more connections in the industry. Jay-Z turned himself into the police for the incident and was placed under arrest before being released on $50,000 bail. Jay initially pleaded not guilty, but later copped out to third-degree battery in exchange for 3 years probation. In his 2010 book, Decoded, Jay spoke about the incident, admitting that he angrily approached Rivera but wasn't responsible for the attack. Now, fast forward to May 2023, Rivera said Jay was not the one who attacked him, telling DJ Vlad, "I don't know where people got Jay-Z attacked me from, because if anybody knows Jay-Z, Jay-Z's a nice guy." He went on to say, "I ended up getting surrounded by a bunch of people. It was probably like 10 weapons that I knew of, and I ended up getting hurt." Rivera confirmed that Jay-Z was there and that they had had a conversation right before he got hit in the head with a champagne bottle. Now, many fans have speculated whether Jay was really responsible or if Rivera lied back then or is maybe lying now. Now, one friend at the party, Chris Scotti, he said that he thought Jay punched Rivera and was actually shocked to see it. However, many people think that Rivera is getting paid now to say Jay actually never did it, and that saying things like Jay is a really nice guy is a way to help Jay's image right now, since it's been quite damaged recently. So some people have even speculated that Jay's paid Rivera to say these things now. Rivera has said for the record that everyone who was there has a different story on what actually happened, but only me and Jay know what really went on. To me, that kind of leaves things unanswered. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't feel you though. Something is off, right? Now, fast forwarding back again to October 2024, going as Jane Doe, the woman previously mentioned, filed a lawsuit accusing Combs and an unnamed male celebrity of essaying her at a party. Now, 2 months later, the plaintiff amended the suit to include Jay-Z's name as the male celebrity who also essayed her. According to the revised lawsuit, the woman alleged that she began to feel lightheaded after consuming a drink at the party and went to lie down in a bedroom. Shortly after, the plaintiff claimed both Diddy and Jay entered the room and allegedly began to remove her clothing and held her down, while Combs allegedly essayed her as an unidentified female celebrity watched. Now, Jay aggressively denied the allegations he described as heinous, and on December 8th, 2024, writing a statement that the victim's attorney, Tony Busby, was trying to blackmail him with the lawsuit. This lawsuit has definitely brought up Jay's past lawsuit, and many people online have said we should have taken the first one as a red flag for more to come. Did you know Beyonce fired her father as her manager? Well, if you didn't, now you do. Beyonce is a diva, no doubt, and a lot of choices she's made has been questionable to say the least, but some have raised some alarm bells because many critics have looked at them as red flags, this one being no exception. Beyonce fired her father, Matthew Knowles, as her manager back in 2011. Now, Beyonce's father has overseen her career since she first auditioned for gigs as a kid and a teenager. Now, while the singles mother Tina was her stylist, Matthew managed his daughter's whole solo career in years, and as a member of her R&B group Destiny's Child, he even actually started the original girls group, which he named Girls Time, when she was just 8 years old. Now, Beyonce explained her decision at the time, saying that she was only ending their business relationship and that she still loved and was grateful to him. She said, "I grew up watching both he and my mother manage and own their own businesses. They were hardworking entrepreneurs, and I will continue to follow in their footsteps." Her father was accused, though, of stealing money from Beyonce by Live Nation, which was revealed in court documents in 2011. Now, these allegations prompted her legal team to conduct an audit in October of 2010, which apparently concluded Knowles had taken funds. Knowles denied the allegations and has requested a judge to ask Live Nation the rationale for its claim. The 60-year-old has suggested that promoter was trying to win a larger share of Beyonce's tour revenue. Knowles said he was replaced with a former Live Nation executive. Live Nation have reportedly declined to comment on the issue, and he denied the accusations, and he actually took his daughter's former concert promoter to court, claiming Live Nation soured his relationship with Beyonce by making false statements about him. Matthew insisted this was just a business decision and unrelated to the family drama. He went on to say, "We mutually agreed to part ways in terms of me managing Beyonce, as my focus is in the investment of Music World's Entertainment's growing gospel and inspirational music division. Because of the success of these artists, my focus has to be on gospel now." Beyonce's relationship with her father is also explored in her 2016 album Lemonade. In the section titled Accountability, Beyonce questions potential power struggles she may have had with her father. She also has a song called Daddy Lessons on the album, in which she sings about being taught how to be hardworking, or a hardworking young woman. Now, this whole incident caused many fans at the time to question the whole thing and wondered if this was a bad sign of Beyonce being too controlling, and it was labeled as a red flag, with one person saying, "Firing your father who has helped you skyrocket to stardom over accusations of theft is the biggest red flag I've ever seen in a long time. What would he need to steal for?" With another person saying, "Beyonce is an adult now and has had her father's opinions, and she has her own opinions now and the way she wants to do things. Her dad has always been controlling. This was a smart decision." Now, their relationship has been complicated, and he hasn't always been, perfect dad, father of the year, so many people have interpreted this in many different ways. But what are your guys' thoughts though? Beyonce's Ivy Park fashion line allegedly is produced in a sweatshop. This is a huge red flag because, well, unless you're unaware of how sweatshops operate, they're deeply inhumane and their practices are disgusting. Beyonce's much-hyped surprise collaboration with British clothing giant Topshop made headlines around the world when it launched. Topshop's website crashed as people rushed to purchase premium athleisure with prices starting at $14 for sweatbands and going all the way up to $265 for a full-length color block bodysuit. Now, the clothing line was supposed to be a way to push a feel-good woman empowerment ethos and to de-emphasize perfectionism and to value strength over beauty, but the backlash was inevitable. A British tabloid newspaper named The Sun ran an expose describing the Sri Lankan garment workers making the range as sweatshop slaves, earning just 64 cents an hour. Now, reporters visited the site and one sewing machine operator said that she was unable to survive on her basic wage of 18,500 rupees a month, which is about $126. The newspaper claimed average seamstresses earn about $7 a day and acknowledged that workers at the factory were still being paid above the legal minimum wage of 13,500 rupees a month. But what is being described by The Sun is that it looks like a severe case of exploitation bordering on slavery. The reporter highlighted particular concerns, including low pay and limits on the women's movements at night by locking them into their accommodation. Like, the workers reside on site and are subject to curfews, which is odd. A spokesperson for Ivy Park said, "Ivy Park has a rigorous ethical trading program. We are proud of our sustained efforts in terms of factory inspections and audits, and our teams worldwide work very closely with our suppliers and their factories to ensure compliance. We expect our suppliers to meet our code of conduct, and we support them in achieving these requirements." Beyonce hasn't directly spoken out, of course, about all of this, and it's caused a lot of concern from her fans. We are in 2024, girl. Time to start paying people better, am I right? A big red flag that has been brought up many times from Jay-Z and Beyonce's past is their big age gap. When we think of Hollywood power couples, we think of Jay-Z and Beyonce. In fact, the two have been together for so long at this point, it's like hard to remember a time they weren't. This leads to the question, though, of how long the two have actually been together and when exactly they started dating. Now, the current age difference between the two now would actually not raise any red flags because she's 43 and he's 55, but the red flag was drawn years ago when the two met when Beyonce was just 18, which was probably somewhere between 1999 and 2000. Now, Jay-Z was 30 at the time, but Beyonce has spoken before about how the two stayed friends for a while before things turned romantic. She said in an interview with Oprah, "We were friends first for a year and a half before we went on any dates, and though the two would go on to marry, they actually waited until 2008. Not just because of their 12-year age difference, but because according to Beyonce, she told 17 magazine at the time, "I really don't believe that you will love the same thing at 20 as you do 30. So that was my rule. Before the age of 25, I would never get married. I feel like you have to get to know yourself, know what you want, spend some time by yourself, and be proud of who you are before you can share that with someone else." The power couple quickly began working together professionally, starting with Jay-Z's 2002 track Bonnie and Clyde, followed by Beyonce's smash hit Crazy in Love. As suggested by the song title, it was inspired by Beyonce's deep affection for Jay-Z. Their personal lives often influenced their music, becoming a reoccurring theme throughout their relationship. Now, however, they managed to keep their 2008 wedding ceremony completely private. Many fans have said they feel bad that Beyonce wasn't given a chance to date around and explore her options because she likely felt pressured into being with Jay, and because that's all she knows, that's why she stayed. Fans today have said that back in the day, age gaps were not talked about enough because they were so normalized, like not only in Hollywood, but also just in society. And the reality, which might shock a lot of y'all, is that the age gap between Beyonce and Jay-Z is the same age gap between Mr. Kelly and Aaliyah. But no one wants to talk about that, and we won't get into how Jay-Z was initially going after Aaliyah. That's a story for another time. Now, the inconsistencies around the actual numbers have always been a hot topic though, because in 2007, in an interview with Charlie Rose, Jay-Z said he met Beyonce 10 years ago, which would have meant 1997. But Beyonce said she was 18 when they first met and 19 when they first started dating. Beyonce was born September 4th, 1981, so this would actually put their first encounter in late 1999 or early 2000s. Now, many fans have come out and said that Jay and Bey are definitely lying, and she was definitely underage when he was first pursuing her, and they've been doing nothing but lying about it for years to protect their images. Many fans have said she was groomed, and in a popular video that's been watched millions of times, you see Beyonce standing next to Jay saying, "You taught me how to be a woman, you taught me how to be a leader, you taught me how to be a friend, you've given me so much in life." Many people said that he should not have taught you how to be a woman, and that video was like giving predatory vibes. What are your thoughts on all of this?